Hello, 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 fellow Facebook and YouTube users. It is me, Dr. Feelgood, and I just wanted to come through real quick this morning because there's a story that's been on my mind. It's been on the news. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but there was a young woman, 25-year-old African American woman. I think her name was LaShanda Armstrong. I may not be pronouncing that right, but anyway, she put all her kids in the car, 4 kids, and drove off into the Hudson River. And just one of the kids was able to get out, but she and I think the 3 youngest children, they did not make it. And so this story has just really been on my heart and in my mind. I was like, I gotta say something about it because there are other LaShandras out there. Maybe they're not all to the point where they're about to commit suicide or homicide, but there are women who are struggling, and men too who are struggling with the challenges of single parenting. And so I want to talk about that today briefly. I as in the therapist in me, I'm in school right now to become a licensed professional counselor and also a licensed marriage and family therapist. So that part of me looks at Miss Armstrong's story from the perspective of, I wonder what was in her mind just before she did this. It had to be feelings of overwhelm, hopelessness, desperation, and just few options. And I'm also thinking, did she not have access to mental health services in her area that were affordable? And so I'm thinking about things like that. And then the single parent in me, because I'm also a single parent, I'm raising 3 kids on my own. I'm looking at it from a perspective of, I can definitely relate to feeling overwhelmed and just feeling like this is so much on me. And from the story, from what I've read about her, I don't know if all of it's true, but it was saying that she was trying to go to school. She's trying to raise these 4 kids by herself. She had her first child at 15. I had my first child at 16. And by the time she was 25, this woman had 4 kids. And so it just really resonated with me. And so I want to come through and talk about that. And specifically, I think I want to start it off with this. As I mentioned in my other video, one of my other videos, about 70% of single parent homes are headed by African American women. So single parenting is a huge issue. And with it comes a lot of challenges. I think for me, becoming a single parent at first wasn't that big a deal because my mom was a single parent, my aunts were single parents. Most of the people I knew were single parents. And so I thought, okay, even though this may be a little bit hard, I didn't really understand it. I'm like, piece of cake, I can do it. They do it, fine, whatever. But what I've realized is that single parenting, God never intended it to be that way. You think about, why does it take a man and a woman to make a baby? And that's because God intended it for the man and the woman to be there throughout the pregnancy and so on. And so it was never intended for one woman or one man to raise a child by themselves. And so I think that's part of where the problem lies in. And so, but anyway, as I said, you have people who are trying to do it by themselves and just having a difficult time. And it's like, I think society as a whole is not really respectful of that. And it's like, well, you made your bed, now lie in it. And I think, just to speak from a single parent perspective, I don't think a woman goes into a situation and has a baby with the man with the intentions that she is going to be a single mother or he is going to be a single father. I don't think you meet somebody and say, hey, you're crap. I could tell you're not father material. You're not mother material. But, oh, I want to sleep with you. Oh, I want to have a baby with you because I'm so ready to do this on my own. And I know you're not going to be there. I know you're not going to help with the baby. I know you're not going to keep the baby. I know I'm going to have to do everything on my own, change diapers, doctor visits, but I'm so ready to do that. Oh, let's just have a baby and make this happen. And that's kind of how I think society looks at it. And that's just not true. I don't think anybody goes into the situation expecting that those types of things are going to happen. But unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes. And in her case, this woman had several children. And so people might look down on her for that. But, realistically, I do believe, I don't know her story, but she may not even realize what she was getting herself into until it was too late, and that's unfortunate. But specifically in speaking single parents in general, there are a lot of challenges that single parents face. I know for me, I'm in grad school, and so there are times when I'm trying to study and I'm trying to do all that, but I also have to be mom. I also have to make time for kids and do all that, and it's hard. It's hard. And then if I'm at school or at work, if one of the kids gets sick, I have to leave. There is no one to back me up. I do it, so it's hard. And so these are the types of challenges I think single parents face. Also financial. What if the father doesn't want to provide support, or if you're a single father, what if the mom is not providing support? Challenges that you have to deal with. And so I wanted to talk about that, but I also wanted to talk about just in terms of single parenting. Single parent, if you are a single parent, you need to make time for you. It is important to take care of yourself, whether that be educationally, mentally, just taking a few moments for yourself. And I think I'm going to make a follow-up video to this, just some ways that single parents can kind of care for themselves, because self-care is so important. You want to make time for the kids and you want to do all that, but you need to take care of yourself as well, because if you don't take care of you, you have no energy to take care of the children. And as I was saying, I think there are a lot of LaShandras, whatever her name was, Armstrong. I think there are a lot of Miss Armstrongs out there, and as I said, I don't think all of them are to the point where they are suicidal, homicidal, but they're probably to the point where it's like, you know what, I can't take all this. I'm maxed out. This is all I can do. And so they're just, instead of thriving, they're just trying to survive. So they may get the kids ready, they may get them off to school, but they're not able to go back to college. They're not able to take the kids to museums. They're not able to do things as a family like that, because the only thing they can do is try to pay bills and make sure the kids have basic needs met. Not necessarily spending a whole lot of time with them and doing things like that, because you can just get tired. Your body gets maxed out. And it said with this woman, she had 4 children. So she's trying to walk down the street with 4 kids and dropping stuff, her diapers, because she can't hold it all. It's just too much. And so I can relate to that. And I know for me, thank goodness I've had family to kind of help out, and people that I know it, and blessed to be able to have daycare and things like that. But not everybody has access to that. Not everyone has access to that. And I think from a single parenting perspective, what's also important to realize, not everybody is the same. Like, I would watch my mom and aunts and people that knew around me as single parents, and I would think, man, this is a piece of cake. I can do this. And it is not. It is hard. It is physically, mentally taxing on the single parent. And it can beat you down if you allow it to. And so sometimes you have to ask for help. If there is a father in the child's life, if there is a father and that father's kind of checked out, you need to try to get that father back involved. If he's willing, if he wants to, try to get him involved. If he just doesn't want to do it, you can't make him do it. But if they're willing, encourage them to take the child for some time so that you can get some rest. Even if it's a day or two, you just need time for yourself to take care of you. And that's important, because if you don't have that, then you don't have energy to give to your child, because you're maxed out, as I said before. And so it's important, and I think it's also important, and just in community, if you know someone who's a single parent who's trying to do it, be encouraging to them. If you can offer them financial support or help them in any way, keep the kids, mentorship, whatever, do that, because you never know what's going on in these people's mind. All these people that were around this lady in New York, they kind of knew she was under stress, but nobody knew how bad it was for her. And that's unfortunate. It worries me in a sense, because this happens. And so maybe people don't drive off a cliff into the river with the kids, but they just stop growing. And that is unfortunate, because our jobs as parents, at some point we have to launch our kids into the world, and we want them to be successful. But if we ourselves are taxed to the point where we can't take it anymore, if we're maxed out, then we have no energy to prepare the kids to launch, and then you're starting a cycle all over again, and the kids are going to do the same thing, and it's just going to repeat. And so you want to take care of you so that you can take care of them. And I want to say thank you for listening to my message. If you know a single parent, encourage them to subscribe to my YouTube, connect with me, ask me questions. I'll be more than happy to respond back. Because I understand, because I've been through it myself.